whatever you do, do not buy this motorcycle. It's our title. It's our title. It's our title. Don't buy it. It's our title. Cue the intro. All right, guys, we are with what looks like to be a really awesome bike. 2007 Yamaha V-Star 1300, but it's an R title. It's an R title. I'm gonna fill you guys in on R titles. Don't buy this bike though, do not buy it. 17,000 miles. When it comes to R title motorcycles, especially in Pennsylvania, the process to getting these things on the road, don't buy this bike. The process to getting this bike on the road legally is a huge thing. And ultimately what that means is R title. It's possible it's theft. Now Flood has its own branding on the title. It's Flood, it's very different. Now theft could be an R title. And that would make sense for this bike because I really don't see any damage on it. But what an R title means is that at some point in time, let's say the bike was damaged and the insurance company said that to fix it with brand new OEM parts would cost more than the book value of the bike. Now, market value is depending on how old the bike is, market value can be higher than book value. And when you replace stuff with OEM brand new parts, a tank like this could cost $1,500. You know what I mean? Or you could go buy a used one on eBay for 300 bucks. There is a situation where things have become R title bikes or they've been salvaged when they really shouldn't have been salvaged, but that's just the name of the game. So looking at this bike and why it was R title, I really can't figure it out why. Don't buy this bike though. The key things I'd be looking at, we're down here. Okay, forks. Were the forks scratched up? No. Everything else is fine. Could be replaced easily. Looking down here, no. Oh, there's nothing on the frame. There are two little tiny dents right there. They're not gonna salvage a bike because of that. It does have Mustang seat. It does have this. The tires look great. To get a bike from being salvaged, which is actually what they consider in Pennsylvania a salvage certificate, not even a title. You can't actually register that bike. And to have it a reconstructed title is a very lengthy process. And what that includes is you replacing all the parts, all the bad parts with good parts, you tracking everything, showing where you bought the parts from and showing that you pay taxes for the parts, and then taking it to one of maybe a couple hundred enhanced inspection stations in the state. That's a pretty big deal. The whole process, costs maybe 600 bucks. It's not cheap to go through that process. But then at that point, the state says, this bike is safe. This bike can go back on the road. Now, when it comes to value, people ask me all the time, I'm looking at an R title bike. It's a little bit cheaper. An R title bike should be significantly cheaper. We have this bike listed for 2,600 bucks. If this bike, a rule of thumb, wholesale value, it's normally half of what the value should be, and it's a little bit more than half of the actual retail value when you're buying an R title bike. Don't buy this bike though. So don't buy this bike, and this bike is for sale on the website. I'm gonna take it for a spin. I've not ridden this bike yet. Maybe there's something all goofy and floppy, but I doubt it. But when you look over at the bike, it does look very clean. I really don't know what the story behind it is of why they gave it that title branding. But stuff happens. And it's possible that it was a theft. Theft will do that same thing because it was stolen and then the insurance company salvaged it and they paid the company, they paid the person off for it, and then later they find the bike. But it's unusual that you would actually find the bike in good shape. Normally they get parted out and they just get scrapped. Let's take this V-Star 1300 for a spin. And don't buy this bike, it's salvage title. All right, guys, let's do the words of wisdom. This is a good one. Hebrews 12:11. Everyone can appreciate this one. All discipline for the moment seems not to be joyful, but sorrowful. Yet to those who have been trained by it, afterwards it yields peaceful fruit of righteousness. Come on, that's a pretty good one. If you have a problem with that one, come on. All right, guys, let's ride this bike. Let me put on my gloves. So I really do like these bikes. I like the V-Star 1300. It's kind of It's a huge step up from the V-Star 1100. Honestly, the 950 is a step up from the V-Star 1100. But this is just a big, nice, comfortable touring bike. And I'm being honest with you, I really have no idea why it's our title. That's surprising to me. I don't know why this thing was salvaged. We looked it over very, very well, trying to nitpick and trying to figure out, like, you know, the story of what's going on. We still don't know. But nothing's jumping out of me. The only damage I see on the bike is that scratch right there, and then these two little dents right here. And obviously they're not going to salvage it for that. Let's see how it runs. Let's take it on the highway. I mean, it's running great right now. This bike is tracking completely straight. Like, I've got normal bikes that are a little more crooked than this. Yep, still don't know. Runs like a top. Got no complaints. Brakes feel good. Clutch feels good. Clutch feels good. Clutch feels good. Like I said before, generally these bikes are worth a little bit more than half of what they normally are. And I'm saying that as a guy who makes a living selling motorcycles. And because it is hard to sell salvage title bikes. Now I've sold two actually. I've not sold a handful. And this is a thing when we first started, people, before we kind of like build up our reputation, people would see our prices and they'd be like, is that a clean title? Is that a clean title? Is that a clean title? Because our prices are really good. And I was concerned about selling any bike that had a salvage title. Because my concern was, would that make people think that my other bikes have salvage titles? So anytime the two times that we've had a salvage title bike, one, we're able to sell them pretty quick because we sell them incredibly cheap. $2,600 for this bike. Look up, for 2,600 bucks, you can't even buy like a 2003 Yamaha V-Star 650 that's like running poorly. Or you can buy a 2007 fuel injected 1300 that runs awesomely. Yeah, I've driven a lot of these bikes. I've probably driven maybe 10 or 15 of them. This is what they feel like. Nothing feels off, even the slightest. Don't buy this bike. But if you were wondering why the bike is so cheap at 2,600 bucks, that is why. It is an R title, and that's a big deal. It's not one of those things where like you can just brush it off and be like, hey, it's no big deal, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter. It is. If you're just gonna ride the bike and ride it forever and love it and keep it, then it's less of a deal. But it should be cheaper. It should be cheaper. R title stuff is valued less because if you have to sell it, you will not get as much for it as the exact same looking bike sitting right next to it with a clean title would be more valuable. Now, it's every once in a while you hear stories about this where a bike started off as an R title. Not started off, but and then you hear about the bike going to another state, and for whatever goofy reason someone made a clerical error and they clean that R title off. That has happened. I've not seen it happen, but I've heard it happen. It's possible the opposite has happened. I don't know. But I'm driving on the highway. It's running great. Feels awesome. Alright guys, don't buy this bike. It's our title. And it is on the website, Srkcycles.com, along with every other bike that we have that is a clean title, because that's pretty much all we sell. We will catch you guys later. Do not forget, drink a lot of water, and not what you're riding, but where you're going. And no one is gonna be like, yeah, but is that a clean title? Nah, they're gonna be like, dang, it's like a nice looking bike. 2,600 bucks, bro. All right, that wraps it up. We'll see you guys later. Oh no, all these horrible R title problems. They're all finally coming out. Nah, I'm just kidding. It's fine.